Emily, one of the things that is incredibly difficult, you mentioned integration a moment ago, is the ability to communicate at scale across your team. You have an easier job with 300 than Lightsource than BP does with the thousands of employees. But employee empowerment to really live out the culture that you've created is a perennial problem for any sort of HR or leadership team. How have you all approached it at Lightsource? And maybe give us an example or two of specific frameworks that help you embed the culture and empower your employees to show up as their best self at Lightsource.
Yeah, that's a really good question, Nico. I'd say the two main big work products that we did was one, we actually created a solid HR program and hiring practices. We were having a lot of employees and the department heads just doing the hiring on their own.
Mm,
And what they're then hiring for the urgent need, not the
mm,
long-term value of the company. And so when you bring in a program that's focused on making sure you have diverse hires, making sure you're blending the skills of the company to be inclusive, you're going to get a better result. But you have to do it purposefully.
mm.
And so one of the things we did was we hired a head of HR, and then we hired some really solid consultants to help us through recruiting, focused on diversity, equity, inclusion. And then the second major initiative that I can give as a perfect example, now this isn't the only initiative we did, but it's one that's really personal to me, is we were having some issues with retaining senior level women. We lost quite a few senior level women. I was one of the
Mm.
last there for the US. And I said, you know what, we've got to change. We've got to change this now because we can't keep losing this high performing talent that is hard to get to begin with,
Mm.
and it takes a long time to replace them and bring them back up to speed. So one of the things that we started was called Powerhouse. It was an informal group, women led from the organization. There were very few of us at the time. So it was really just a chance to get together and say,
Mm.
what's going on? Here's a safe space and an inclusive place where you can talk about tough conversations that you may have had, and don't sometimes people can feel like there's gaslighting of, oh, maybe I didn't feel that
Mhm.
situation. I've been told it's probably not there. They keep telling me it's not there. It's there. It's okay to admit it, especially in this group. It was a safe space to say, no, it's there. It happened to me too. And you can talk about those examples. Now it's actually a formal group. It's called an employee resource group because we're a
Hmm.
bigger company across globally. I think we're close to 1,300 globally. So it is actually going to become a global organization. So it was a grassroots organization that's now been formalized into what's called an employee resource group.
Wow.
It's having diversity, equity, inclusion, and focusing on women is really critical still. Sometimes people say, well, how come you're only focusing on women? Well, because the workforce is, especially in clean energy, is still 25% women, 75% men. That means we still need to work on the equity component. And this
Yeah.
group helps create a safe space and a place for people to learn and find mentors and find a place where they can feel connected.